to watch from start to finish.
They're not just competing against each other, but against every team in the nation.
Is still Alabama.
Roll Tide and welcome to the Crimson Tide production studio inside Bryant-Denny Stadium for another episode of Tide TV This Week. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by my co-host Kenzie Hughes for one final time in March.
Hey, a mad March, or a sad March if you're me, talking about the bracket specifically. But it is the last one, and I'm excited to be here, excited to go into April with you, Roger.
Yeah, Kenzie, it's not quite what we hoped for, but it was still a great season for the Alabama Crimson Tide men's basketball team.
That it was. After two straight 20-point-plus wins for the Tide in the first two rounds of the NCAA tournament, Alabama moved on to the round of 16 in Louisville, Kentucky.
Nate Oates and the Crimson Tide made it to the Sweet 16 for the second time in the last 3 years and for the 9th time in program history.
Unfortunately for the Tide, they ran into a defensive buzzsaw in San Diego State. A tough matchup for the Crimson Tide. It was back and forth first half as San Diego State led 28-23 at the break.
Alabama used a 17-6 run to open the second half to take a 40-34 lead. Crimson Tide increased their lead to 9 at 48-39 with 11:31 left. But San Diego State responded with a 12-0 run to take the lead back at 51-48, and the Aztecs never trailed again. The Tide cut the lead to 2 points, 66-64 with 46 seconds to go, but Bama wouldn't be able to score again as San Diego State ended the Tide's tournament run and incredible season at 71-64.
It's definitely tough, just playing around these guys. I mean, working hard every day in practice. So, I mean, to fall short, I think it's a bad feeling now, but I feel like our bond is too close to, to break. So I feel like after this, we're probably just going to go and make our bond even stronger. I'm pretty sure we're going to have somebody in someone's weddings and in the future. So, I mean, it's just a bond that you can't break.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it's one of the most memorable seasons ever. I mean, it's not easy to win the regular season, the SEC tournament the same year, make a Sweet 16 run. It's a great group that really loves each other. I mean, they're going to be close for life, most of them. So, I love the group. They love each other, and it's just really disappointing that it's ending early, but I think it's one of the most memorable seasons in Alabama history, and they can walk out of here with their heads up.
Alabama finished the season 31-6 overall and 16-2 in the SEC. The 31 wins are the most in program history, surpassing the 2001-2002 team that won 27. The Crimson Tide captured both the SEC regular season and tournament championships, and that made the second time in the last 3 years that the Tide has accomplished that feat.
The number 1 seed was also the first in program history for the Crimson Tide, and they did it all against a very tough schedule. Out of the Tide's 36 contests, 20 were games played against teams that reached the NCAA tournament, with the Crimson Tide holding a 16-4 record in those games.
And the Tide swept Auburn, beating them both times they faced them this season.
We always like that. Along with those accolades, the Tide picks up another one this week. Brandon Miller was named the Freshman of the Year by the National Association of Basketball Coaches.
That he was. And Brandon Miller was named the Freshman of the Year by the National Basketball Association of Coaches because he's the first freshman in program history to win the award. The man obviously deserved it.
Miller averaged 18.8 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists per game this season, and is the only player in Division I in the last 30 years to score 695 points, record 305 rebounds, and make 105 three-pointers this year.
I'll tell you what, Roger, he's a really special player, and it was really, really special season for the Crimson Tide. One of the best in school history. I know we thoroughly enjoyed watching him, but let's take an all-access look back at this historic record-breaking season for the Crimson Tide.
But there's an elephant in the conference, and Alabama rolls in undefeated in the SEC. Alabama is the best team in college ball.
And Bama is going to the Sweet 16.
All these dudes are all about winning.
Tide roll. Good shooting. Buzzer ball game. And for the second time in 2 weeks, Alabama has beaten the #1 ranked team in America. This time, it's on the road.
We're in the heart of SEC country.
We're undefeated at home.
They can do this to a lot of teams in this building this year, and they will. Comes an Alabama team still in the fight for not only a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, but possibly the overall 1 seed.
Alabama's the best team in the country.
This game used to be played for the state championship of Alabama. It is previous meeting in the jungle, it is just as loud here at Coleman Coliseum tonight. Not shrinking from the moment, embracing the moment.
Looks left side, Sears, three, bottom, Bama by 5. They play the song for the champions of the Southeastern Conference. This is a historically great Alabama basketball team. Things that they still want to accomplish, but this is a championship team.
Last thing, we put this up numerous times, but today's the day. Players play, top players win championships.
Front court, Miller to the rack. Oh!
Just keeps on coming. He is flammable at this point.
Enjoy it, folks. Bama champions again. Undisputed. SEC champions once again.
We begin in the South region, where the overall #1 seed is the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Listen, we're here. This is what we've worked for. We're here, fellas. Okay, we got to win.
Bama is going to the Sweet 16. 73-51 is your final, and strike up the band.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
Swing and a miss, strike three, and that is your ball. Swing, miss, ball game.
Hammer puts it into play.
Are you kidding me? Struck him out looking with a fastball. Spectacular.
In the dirt, here comes Jim Jarvis. Alabama wins.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. The 8th-ranked Alabama gymnastic team has advanced to the NCAA championships.
Second place finish of the SEC championships last week helped the Crimson Tide earn the #2 seed in the Norman, Oklahoma regional.
4 were named the All-SEC team. Luisa Blanco was named the All-SEC team for the 3rd consecutive year. She's been on a roll, baby. Lily Hudson picked up her first All-SEC honor after being named to the All-Freshman team in 2021.
Shalyn Olson was named to the All-SEC team for the 2nd time in her career, and Gabby Gladio was named to both the All-SEC and All-Freshman teams, earning an individual SEC title on the vault.
She's fun to watch, man, and Luisa Blanco earned 3 accolades, picking up first-team honors on both the balance beam and the floor exercise, along with second-team recognition in the all-around.
Lily Hudson earned her 3rd career All-American honor on the floor exercise, picking up second-team recognition on the event.
Now, the Crimson Tide is off to compete in the NCAA championships. The first stop is the regionals in Norman, Oklahoma.
I think there's something about, when there's 4 teams going on, there's a lot of chaos happening. There's a lot of energy all going on at the same time, and we train a lot for that. And so that kind of feels like the norm for us, where we lock into our Bama bubble. We really just focus on each other. The meet goes really fast, whereas in those dual meets, you go one at a time. There's a lot more downtime in between. I think this team thrives in that high energy, intense environment where 4 teams are going. There's a lot happening, and so I know they're excited about being able to step into that again, knowing that there's a lot of confidence from that Metroplex meet, from SECs. So it feels like something that we're already really good at, stepping in and knowing how to thrive in a big, intense format.
The Tide has won an NCAA record 32 regional team titles. The regional finals will take place on Saturday, April 1st.
Semifinals will take place on April 13th in Fort Worth, Texas, while the national championship will take place 2 days later on April 15th.
The Alabama men's swimming and diving team wrapped up competition at the NCAA championships this past week. 5 swimmers qualified for individual events as the Crimson Tide men finished 19th overall. Alabama earned several All-America honors, including Derek Moss, who set a new school record in the 200 individual medley, breaking his own record set last year.
Hey, congratulations to Moss for also claiming the NCAA's Elite 90 Award. The honor is presented to the student athlete with the highest GPA, participating at finals side for each of the NCAA's 90 championships. Across all sports, it's the 17th time a Crimson Tide student athlete has won the award, but Moss becomes the first Alabama swimmer to ever win the award.
Awesome award, and super honored I'm sure he is. But don't go anywhere. We'll have more Tide TV This Week coming up next.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
How about some noise at the Rhodes House? Sliding in around the tag is Dowling. Ashley Prangy. And Alabama takes the lead. That's well hit to center. Montana Fouts got her. Jenna Johnson. Perfectly executed. She's looking for more. That's gone. Alabama answers right back to grab the lead.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. I'm Kinsey Hughes. That is Roger Hoover, and Roger, it's spring, so you know what? It is still football season, baby. Spring football season, to be exact, for Alabama Crimson Tide.
Kinsey, the Crimson Tide returned to the practice field this past week for week 2 of spring practice. Coach Saban and the Crimson Tide practiced twice this week. Tide held practice number 4 on Tuesday and the 5th practice of the spring on Thursday. Team will take a few days off from the practice field and return Monday for practice number 6. There have been a lot of changes on the field and on the staff, first of all, and with also players leaving for the NFL draft, but that's nothing new for Coach Saban.
I look at every season like I just took the job. So if I just took the job, what would we have? We'd have new coaches, we'd have new leadership, we'd have to create a new culture on this team, we'd have to create new leadership on our team from players as well as coaches. I would have to make sure that the coaches really understood the culture and the system that we wanted to play, whether it was offense, defense, or special teams. It's great to have continuity, especially in leadership positions, but this is not something that we don't have some experience at making sort of adaptations, being flexible, letting people add things that they know will be beneficial to us, contribute to how we can fix some of the problems that we've had in the past. New energy and new enthusiasm is always helpful. So that's what we're basically going to try to do with the new people that we have. And hopefully we'll have some players that step up and become leaders.
And Crimson Tide fans, get excited. You can watch Coach Saban and the Tide in action for their final scrimmage of the spring on A-Day. Kickoff is set for Saturday, April 22nd at 2 o'clock inside Bryant-Denny Stadium.
I'm looking forward to A-Day here in just a few weeks as well, Kinsey, and the players are back out on the practice field, but that's not stopping them from taking time to give back.
That's right. Several of the players visited local elementary schools recently to take some time to spend with the local youth, reading to them, delivering some pizza, a book and some pizza. You know they're excited about that. I remember pizza parties, man. Let's take a look at theirs.
I'm Malik Benson, Caleb Proctor, Caleb Down, Justice Haynes, Justin Jensen, and we at Skyland Elementary eating pizza and just giving back to the kids. Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
Some noise at the Rhodes House. Sliding in around the tag is Dowling. Ashley Prangy. And Alabama takes the lead. That's well hit to center. Montana Fouts got her. Jenna Johnson. Perfectly executed. She's looking for more. That's gone. Alabama answers right back to grab the lead.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to Tide TV this week. The 25th ranked Alabama baseball team held their first SEC series of the season this past weekend as the Alabama Crimson Tide hosted the 22nd ranked Wildcats for a 3-game series.
Alabama dropped Game 1 in 12 innings 4-3 and Game 2 9-5, but bounced back in the series finale. Down 3-2 going into the 8th inning, the Crimson Tide began their rally. With runners on second and third and one out, Ed Johnson sent a chopper to first, but the first baseman slipped on the throw home. Jim Jarvis got under the tag to tie the game at 3. Then the Crimson Tide with Andrew Pinckney stepped to the plate, and he delivered with a single to left field, allowing William Hammiter to score the go-ahead run. Johnson would eventually be tagged out at home, but that wouldn't matter.
Grayson hit through 6 strong innings, allowing just 1 earned run, striking out 5. Cade Woods came on in relief to pick up the win as Woods allowed just 1 run in the final 3 innings to pick up his 2nd win on the year as the Tide salvaged the series win with a 4-3 win over the 22nd ranked Wildcats in Game 3. In Alabama's 2 SEC series against Florida and Kentucky, the Tide had a chance to win the series both times, dropping 1-run games and picking up wins in Game 3 of the series.
Alabama had a chance to add another W to the win column on Tuesday night as the Crimson Tide took on Middle Tennessee in Huntsville at the home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
My favorite team, man. The Blue Raiders jumped out to a 4-0 lead early on with 4 runs in the first, but the Tide answered right back to tie it up with 4 in the bottom of the 4th. Then, in the 6th, on the first pitch he saw, Andrew Pinckney put Bama up for good. This moonshot straight away to center field gave the Crimson Tide the 5-4 lead on his 3rd home run of the year. The Alabama bullpen was lights out as they allowed just 1 hit over the final 5 innings of the game. Zane Probst picked up the win as Alabama rolled to the 10-4 win over Middle Tennessee. And that win over Middle Tennessee improved the Tide's record to 20-6 on the year. And next up, they got a road trip to Fayetteville, which you probably know something about. The Tide will take on the 6th-ranked Arkansas Razorbacks for a 3-game series beginning on Friday.
I look forward to being back at Baum-Walker Stadium. The Alabama softball team was on the road this past weekend as well, as the 13th-ranked Crimson Tide took on the 3rd-ranked Tennessee Lady Volunteers. Tennessee extended their win streak to 20 games with a 5-1 victory in the series opener on Friday.
But on Saturday, the Tide evened things up. In just the second at bat of the game for the Tide, Callie Hevlin got Bama on the board. This solo homer to left made it 1-0 Crimson Tide. The Lady Vols answered back in the bottom of the 1st with a couple of runs to take a 2-1 lead, but in the 3rd, Kinley Cahalan tied it up with a single up the middle, scoring, guess who? Jenna Johnson sliding in.
Then Alabama took the lead for good on the next at-bat by Hevlin. She grounded out to second, allowing Kristen White to score 3-2 Crimson Tide. Jenna Johnson added an insurance run in the 6th inning, driving in Allie Shipman. In the circle, Alex Salter was dominant as she held the 3rd-ranked Lady Vols to just 2 runs and 5 hits across 7 innings as she improved to 4-1 on the year. Alabama ended Tennessee's 20-game win streak with a 4-2 win in Game 2 on Saturday.
The Lady Vols did win Game 3 on Sunday, 7-5, but a big win in Game 2 for the Crimson Tide. They ended Tennessee's 20-game win streak. That was just the 2nd loss of the season for the Lady Vols.
This weekend, Patrick Murphy's squad travels to Columbia to take on the Missouri Tigers for a 3-game series beginning on Friday.
And the Alabama women's tennis team was at home this past weekend as the Tide played 2.
The Tide dropped their first match to number 20 Texas A&M on Friday, 4-0, but ended the weekend with a big win over LSU. Alabama won the doubles point and took an early 3-0 lead. The Tigers won the next 2 sets, and then Bama ended it with a big win from Petra Sedlakova on court 3 to earn the 4-2 victory to improve to 10-7 on the year.
The Alabama men's tennis team played a couple of matches on the road as well. The Tide dropped a tough 4-3 decisions to both Texas A&M and LSU.
Over on the greens, the Alabama women's golf team competed this past week at the Liz Murphy Collegiate Classic in Athens, Georgia.
The final round was canceled due to inclement weather. After finishing round 1 in a tie for 5th, the Tide finished the 2nd round in 12th place. Leading the Tide was Benedetta Moresco, who finished tied for 18th place overall and 2 over par. Next up for Mick Potter's squad is the SEC Championships beginning on April 12th at the Greystone Country Club in Birmingham.
Don't go anywhere. We'll have our plays and players of the week coming up next in just 90 seconds.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that is your ball. Swing Ball game.
Hammer puts it into play.
Are you kidding me? Struck him out looking with a fastball. Spectacular. In the dirt. Here comes Jim Jarvis. Alabama wins.
Here's a swing, the bouncing ball right to first, smothered by Gillum, looks back to runner, then slips and falls. Jarvis still running, the throw by Gillum to home, and Jarvis is safe.
With one out, fastball ripped into left, a base hit. Alabama takes a lead.
Evelyn drills this one to deep left field. That one's way back. Way gone! Allie Evelyn goes yard. Alabama has a 1-0 lead. 2-1 pitch. Donahue, fly ball to left, on the run is Johnson. She makes the diving catch for out number 3, and Alabama wins the game by a final score of 4-2 and snap the 20-game win streak for the Lady Vols.
TideTV this week, we just saw our ATI Plays of the Week. Now let's take a look at our Players of the Week, brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
We're starting off with Andrew Pinckney because he had a big week at the plate for the Crimson Tide as he drove in the go-ahead runs in both of the Tide's wins this week. Pinckney had the game-winning RBI in the Tide's 4-3 win over 22nd-ranked Kentucky, then against Middle Tennessee on Tuesday. Pinckney hit a solo shot to center field that put the Tide ahead 5-4 as they defeated the Blue Raiders 10-4.
Alabama in softball snapped Tennessee's 20-game win streak with a 4-2 win over the third-ranked Lady Vols. Callie Hevlin set the tone as she blasted a home run to left field in the first inning. Then with the game tied at 2 in the third, Hevlin knocked in the game-winning run.
And picking up the win on the mound for the Tide that game was Alex Salter. Salter picked up her first career SEC win as she allowed just 2 runs on 5 hits as she went the distance, pitching all 7 innings. Congratulations to our Legacy of Hope Players of the Week.
We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to seeing you back here next week for another episode of TideTV This Week.
See you guys next week. Hey, roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you. And you.
And you.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,